Welcome to all the guests, all the choshev guests. We have a bar mitzvah over here. What's your name, Father?
Shmuel Zan.
From?
Jackson, New Jersey.
Shalom Aleichem. That is Yehuda Zen from New Jersey. Bar mitzvah today. When?
2 months ago.
Oh, it's the bar mitzvah trip.
Got delayed. Yeah, it's bar mitzvah trip.
Wow. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Yeah, you feel comfortable, take your hat off, you know. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Shmuel Weinstock. I know. But what's your name? You're from the email?
You don't know my name.
Rev Nachman Seltzer. I have an email. So where do you live?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Are you coming to the Shabbaton this year?
Possibly. I got the email.
What do you mean, possibly?
Have to make sure.
It's like it should be the number one priority, no?
I have to make sure the 7 kids have a place to live.
Bring them. No, there's no kids this year? I don't know what it is. Wow. All right, who else is new here? I just saw two. You guys, you want to say Shalom Aleichem? What's your names? From? Brooklyn. You?
Zevachim.
From? Borough Park. Shalom Aleichem. 1 over is like the real seat. Man, it's a stickle empty these days. What's going on there? The other one's dropping out of Zevachim maybe. I'm getting. They're not. Yonatan Eitan, Shalom Aleichem. Wow. Kol kavod. All right. First of all, I want to say a tremendous mazel tov to Reb Chaim, Ariel, Reb Ari Chaimowitz. Mazel tov on the chasana of your son, MDY, represented by Peretz Chaim and Leiba Sternberg. Tremendous mazel tov. Borough Park watch here. Looks this is like a pre-shear. Shkoyach to Reb Mendy Kaf for building an MDY shear cave in his basement for the shear watchers. Now check this out. In Staten Island, Givaldic, in Borough Park, Wednesday night shear watching in New York City. Remind the Olam, we got a few new ones today. So somebody asked me, well, so you guys are making a killing? No, we're still losing money. Everybody makes a question. Wow, 50 plus 25 equals... No, this thing costs like $1 million+. In order to make it affordable for anybody, we need more sponsors here. Givaldic. So Yishkoyach, I see Mitzvah Motivators is new over here in the 25 column. Who else? I saw somebody else here. And I know who, now I know Anonymous from the UK is. Yishkoyach, Mr. Anonymous. Givaldic. Okay. Yishkoyach Gadol Ma'od. What do we have here? Oh, let me read this email. This is like it wasn't even written to me. Bobby told me that my old friend from my camp days, Reb Nachman Seltzer, is one of your Rebbeim. Does he know you're my granddaughter? What does he teach? What kind of shiur does he give? I should say now?
Yeah.
This is from the world famous Yitzi Herbs. Yitzi Herbs, you remember Yitzi Herbs? Yeah. For real? Yeah. No, there's a reason. Does he know you're my granddaughter? What does he teach? What kind of shiur does he give? You can mention that I don't learn Daf Yomi because I have an unpredictable schedule. However, I do learn Masechta on my own pace. Currently, I'm learning Sanhedrin with the Chavrusa who doesn't know he's my Chavrusa, and we learn at all different times of the day and night. I learn with Reb Eli Stefansky. Reb Seltzer learns the daf most of the time with the Rabbi Stefansky shir. He sits up front. I enjoy watching the great interactions between him and Rabbi Eli Stefansky. Send him my best regards. Thanks. Kol Tov, with great love. Zaidi. Givaldik. So he stole this email from a granddaughter. I'm reading in shir. I hope he knows. I can't keep it. Very good. Yeah. Hi, Eli Shlita. I'm a long-time fan of yours, a short time MDY member. Hopefully my membership will go beyond the fan time. The daf with you has changed my life. My business and everything I do, especially being a long-time marketing content creator, changed the way I think. Everything's Torah. I also recently started learning Shnai Mikra. So if he just started Shnai Mikra because of the shir, Taki changed his life. All he is chos. Proof is in the pudding. See video attached. I made it for a client, the weekly series. Ties business to the parasha. Also total your inspiration. Gershi Schwartz, Chestnut Ridge, New York. My brother, Paltil, not Platil, who organized the Times River MDY location. I had two artists from different people that in this video you see. I want to point out that the Mishnah Midas mentions that when the Mizbech was repaired, they did not use metal tools, but rather wood. And the repair in the video was using what appeared to be a metal putty knife. Thank you for making Torah learning fun again. Atzlacha Rabba, Yossi Robbins from Cleveland. There's a lot of other kashas on the video, but that was one. This is Eliza Zimmer, granddaughter of London MD Wire, Avi Bar. Hanok Doilo. The Masechta is sponsored by David Solomon, dedicated in memory of Moirib Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv. Masechta sponsored anonymous Lili Nishmas Doidi Shlomi Yehuda Zechron Baruch Ben Shmuel Chaim Sheshokav Lama Kodzim Chaim. Anonymous. L'zeich Nishmas Nochem Tzvi Ben David, sponsored by Skybrook Capital in honor of our friends Meir Kovacs, Taki, and Shamshi Shlafrak for their devotion to Torah study and the Shir. Joel Gedalius, Lili Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalius. Anonymous Atzlach Baruchnis Ubegashmis. Monthly sponsors Anonymous Baruch Advilidai, Baruch Tzvi Nisim Ben Shoshana Leah, Yehudim Yom Ben Chava, Tzvi Jagos for Refuah Shlema for Bracha Bat Chana. Daily sponsors Anonymous L'Schus Refuah Shlema for Rivki Naomi Bat Elisheva Batya. MDY Art monthly Yorat Aneitan. Ben Bashev Bracha L'Refuah Shlema. How you doing? I don't see the patch in the eye. What's pshat?
Nail polish in the glasses.
For real? Oh wow. Okay. L'Refuah Shlema Mordechai ben Esther. L'Refuah Hayeled Daniel Zev ben Hayeled Esther. So what? It's just a little bit more comfortable. You don't have a patch.
It makes it easier to see and not have to keep my eyes moving.
I got it. Wow. Refuah Shlema. Turning of the daf. Not yet. Okay. So we are holding on daf Nun Tes Nun Beis. By the way, how long are you in this year? Good few years.
4 years?
4 years already? Like from Taina Syria, kind of?
A little before.
Wow.
I believe right after Sukkah. That's more than 4 years.
Sukkah? No, Sukkah was after Tainus, no? Before? I know that you know.
I got a free tennis for me.
Yeah? Okay. So holding strong. When did you ever fall off in the middle? Straight?
Have I missed a day here and there?
No, I'm talking about like a Masechta here and there.
Oh, Masechta. Who do you think I am?
A regular guy. It's normal to fall. You know, a lot of people fall here and there. You're new?
Yes.
Shalom Aleichem, what's your name?
Noach Horowitz.
From?
Crown Heights.
Shalom Aleichem, Reb Noach. Okay. So, we could just take it back like 2 lines. There's a little surprise for the Olam, and I'm banking on it.
You just wanted to sponsor.
I did? Who?
Leighton family.
Oh, really? How come I don't see it in here? I hope there's a lot of. We had some issues with he's under what? No, it's not in my sheets. Oh yeah, no, it's not in here. Here, I'm gonna put it up here to show. That's the only one I have. Daily sponsors. Anyways, there's something's going on. I thought it's in my computer, but I guess it's in the whole. Leighton family, in memory of our mother's grandmother, on her first yard side yesterday, Esther Miriam Bas Yecheskel Shraga Halevi Olea Shalom. Okay, Shkoyach. Rabbi say we had a Geshmak Sugya yesterday, the size of the Mizbeach and different things. We're continuing with that Sugya. we could just read kind of quickly. Maybe let's 8 lines from the top. Rabbi Yehuda Tamei on Daf Nun Tes on the page. The Omar Mizbeach Shasa Moshe Gadol Haya. No, it's larger than you think. The Sanya, we thought that the Mizbeach is.
Where are you?
Yeah. I just went back a few lines. Ariel Tamei, 5 lines above that. Ariel Tamei, the Omer Mizbeach Shasa Moshe Gadol Hayo, the Sanya Chamish Amis Oirech, Chamish Amis Roichav, Dvarim Kichsavam, the Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yosi, here we go. This is Machlokes between Rabbi Yosi and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yosi says the Mizbeach was 5 by 5. If the Mizbeach is 5 by 5, that leaves us one tiny Amma in the center that you can be makriv on. Why? Because you have to get rid of. You can't be makriv where the horns are, and you can't be makriv in the amma below the horns because that's where the kohen walks around. So basically, you're left with one tiny square in the middle, and on that square, Moshe Rabbeinu or Shlomo HaMelech makriv 1,000 oilos in one day. Rabbi Yehuda argues. Rabbi Yehuda Omer nemer kan revua v'nemer lahalon revua. Here's the Gzeir Shava. It says. In Shmois it says Revua. In Yecheskel it says Revua. Interesting Gzeir Shava. But it's a serious Gzeir Shava because we're going to see that everybody agrees that this Gzeir Shava exists. That you start measuring something like this. You take the center point and you come off the center and from there you say 5. So the Torah says 5. But it really means from the center. Why do I say such a thing? Because I see it somewhere else. The same idea. You're not going from side to side, and that would be 5 by 5. You're going to the center. From the side to the center, from the side to the center. And that gives us a 10 by 10 Mizbeach. So, if it's a 10 by 10 Mizbeach, now you must remove. I don't know if we did that already. We did it yesterday. You must remove the outer amma because there's a horn on every corner. You must remove one inner one, but that goes all the way around like Ari chapped right away. So therefore, it takes off 2 from each side. So we're left with 6. If you take off 4, 2 plus 2 is 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. So now you have a 6 by 6 square where you can do korbanos on. 6 times 6, 36. 36 is Shlomo HaMelech had a 400 amma mizbeach. So in a 400 amma mizbeach, you can get 11 36s in there. So if Moshe Rabbeinu was able to be makriv on 1 square amma, Shlomo. If Shlomo was makriv, I said before, yeah. Shlomo was makriv on 1 square am 1,000.
Moshe was what?
Yeah, but it's Moshe's Mizbeach.
Shlomo was 4 years before the.
On Moshe's Mizbeach. On Moshe's Mizbeach. 1,000 amma could do 1,000. 1 amma could do 1,000 korbanos. So 11 times 1,000 is 11,000 korbanos. So therefore, we have a problem. You cannot be makriv 142,000 korbanos on this mizbeach, a 10 by 10, says Rabbi Yehuda. So let me just show you. We have actually 4 machlokes in here between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yosi. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that the mizbeach wasn't large enough, so we had to be mekadesh the entire azara. You have a mizbeach in the middle, but it's not large enough. So I have to be able to be makriv and burn up these korbanos all over the floor. So you had to be makriv. According to Rabbi Yosi, makdish. According to Rabbi Yosi, I didn't have to be makdish the entire azar. It's a massive machlokes. I don't have to be mekadesh the azar. Why? It all fits on that small little 5 by 5 mizbeach with 1 amma. That's enough. It has a superpower. It's a super fire. It's not a regular fire. It can consume 142,000 korbanos. It's not a problem. The machlokes we just saw, according to Rabbi Yehuda, mizbeach is 10 by 10. According to Rabbi Yosi, it's 5 by 5. Another machlokes we're going to get into right now. How tall was the mizbeach? According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's 3 plus 1. You go to the top, plus 1. What's the 1? The kronos. So total of 4. According to Rabbi Yosi, it's 9 plus 1 is 10. And then we have another machlokes that we're also going to talk about. This is also very interesting. How tall were the curtains? Actually, the walls of the Mishkan in the Midbar. How tall were they? Were they 5 or 15? The pasuk says 5. Just the Gemara says it doesn't make sense. What, people that are walking outside can look over and see inside? 5 amas. They're not going to see inside, but if the kohen is standing on top of a tall mizbeach, they can see him. It's not proper to see him doing the avodah. So says the Gemara. That's what we're talking about now. How do you know that you measure something from the center? Says the Gemara, we have it in another place also. It says, Ariel is referring to Mizbeach. It's 12 from the center. From the center. Maybe it's only 12 by 12. Who told you it's 24 by 24? It has 4 quarters. So by us also. That's the pshat. 5 doesn't mean 5. 5 means 10 because you're measuring to the center. Rabbi Yossi, Kigam Gzer Shava. Yeah, this is Gzer Shava. Now, Gzer Shava is not a joke. Baruch Hu gave the Gzer Shava to Moshe Rabbeinu. You can't mess around with it. So what does he do with the Gzer Shava? We review the learned Gzer Shava that you go to the center. What does he do with it? Kigam Gzer Shava beguvo the Gomer. So Rabbi Yehuda is going to learn the Gzer Shava for the width of the Mizbeach. He's learning it for the height of the Mizbeach, the Sanya. The Mizbeach, the outer Mizbeach is 3 amma. The Rebbe says literally it was 3 amma tall. Very short Mizbeach, like this. Short Mizbeach. It's wide and short, and Rebbe is tall and not that wide. It's only 5. Narrow. So he has a different, he learns from Moshe Rabbeinu to Moshe Rabbeinu. He doesn't learn to Yecheskel. It says by the Mizbeach HaChitzon, and it says Revuah. And it says by the Mizbeach HaPnimi, it says Revuah. Right? The Pnimi is the Ktoiras. Mala'alon Gavoy Pi Shnaim Karkoi. You see? By the Pnimi, the height is double the width. Avkan Pi Shnaim Karkoi. So if we have a 5 amma, that we already established. The Torah says it's 5 amma. Double that is 10 amma tall. Rabbi Yehuda, I have a big problem with what you're telling me. If you're telling me it's 10 amma tall, approximately 20 feet tall, the height of the curtains are 5 amma. So let's remember that. The Torah says that the curtains are 5 amma. How are we going to get out of that? Where's that picture? If you say this, okay. I say it's 3 amma tall, and I have a 5 amma tall wall. No. But according to you, it's something like this. It's a 5 amma wall, and he's standing 10 amma. He's way above everybody. So anybody walking around in the midbar could see inside and see what he's doing. It's not proper. It doesn't have a tznius. It doesn't have the respect that it needs. You're right. That wouldn't be good. He admits to that. That's not good. However, says Rashi, it only makes sense that the curtain, the kloim that go all the way around the Mishkan, they are at least 10 amma, the side, the height of the Mizbeach, or the Mishkan Esr Amos, the Mizbeach Esr Amos. V'oimer, Chaloim Chomesh Esr Amma, Elakosef. So wait a minute. We have a problem here. It says it's 15 amma, not 5 amma, the walls. So why does the Torah say 5? Misfas Mizbeach ulemalo. So if you take a look, what is this? Oh. This is Stam. So it says Rabbi Yossi, it's actually taller. It's 15 amma. But it mentions 5 amma. The Torah says 5. We saw before, I told you to remember the pasuk. Like 7 lines from the bottom. It says, it's 5. So what do we do? So it goes like this. Take a look. This is the karkoiv. It's like a decorative lattice mesh that goes around the Mizbeach. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about the one above it, the Michbar. From the Michbar and above, what am I saying? Let's see side. Hold on a second. No, forget this. It means that from the top of the Mizbeach, this one, right over here. This one? No, let's go. Where's the one that it goes up? Oh, maybe it was this? I think it was this one, yeah. Oh. So again, how tall is this curtain? 15. How tall is the Mizbeach? 10. So 10, from above the 10 to the top of the curtain is 5. That's why the Torah says 5. You get a 5 Amma Mechitza above the highest spot in the Azara. So why does it say, according to Rabbi Yossi, why does it say that the Mizbeach is only 3 Amma? It's 10 Amma. Why 3? Again, Rabbi Yehuda says the Mizbeach is 3 Amma. Rabbi Yehuda says Dvarim Kichsavam. It says in the Torah 3, it's 3. Rabbi Yossi says the Mizbeach is 10. So why does the Torah call it 3? Then we have to go to this picture right over here. It's referring to 3 above the Michbar. Here, the Michbar itself, 1 Amma. In other words, 3 from the bottom from where the Michbar starts. The Michbar itself is 1 Amma.
Lattice.
No, not the lattice.
The ledge.
The ledge. I don't know what is it called? The rim. Some sort of rim. Ledge. It's not a ledge that you can stand on.
I get that.
Protrusion. Plus 2 Amos, 3. That's why the Torah says. Why do we start from there? I'm not exactly sure. And then the Gemara just repeats everything that we said before. Rabbi Yehuda goes by the width. He uses the revuah to say that we start from the center, and therefore it's 5 Amos from the center to the edge, so it's really 10 by 10. And Rabbi Yossi learns the revuah to tell me that the height of the Mizbeach is 10 Amma. That's the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda comes Chazikoy. If, according to Rabbi Yehuda, how tall is the Mizbeach? Rabbi say 3. Yeah, it's 3 Amma. How tall is the curtain around the Mizbeach, around the Mishkan? 5. So the difference is only 2 Amma. 2 Amma is, let's say, 4 feet. A kohen is taller than 2 feet, 4 feet. He's standing on top of the Mizbeach, doing the Avodah, so it doesn't really cover him. What does it cover? Covers maybe his head. Efsher. His head, his body besides his head. It's a different world. The Mechitza comes up to here, let's say. So all this is exposed. Is that tznius? Everybody sees the kohen's head and he's moving around over there. Well, Rabbi Yehuda says the Gemara in the kohen mischazi avoided the biyadoi lo mischazio. You can't see what he's doing here. Something like this. You see him, but you don't see the animal. You don't see what he's doing. Where do we have a similar thing today? Huh?
You can see the person, but you can't see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Politician's done. That's good.
You have shuls that have mechitzas like that. You have a shorter mechitza, and you see the heads above. I used to daven in a shul like that in Chicago, not all the time, but there's a shul like that in Chicago. It's no longer there, but there's a shul like that on Lincoln, where the kollel is now, where they're building the kollel. You know what I'm talking about? What is it called? Oh, I'll tell you. Bernie.
No, on Devon.
On the van, right? On the van. The Bernie the KJ. What was his name? The one that used to Bernie the Burn. His son, Rabbi Rabbi Liebtag. He was the Rav there. But anyway. So that's the big thing in America, and Ramosha Feinstein wrote a whole truth on it. Ramosha is on the more of the Makel side. I just tell you that I'll never forget. I heard a drasha from like this a Rosh Yeshiva Chashuva person who was fire, very very mechabed Ramosha, of course. Everybody who doesn't hold a Ramosha, but he had a taina that I remember stuck in my head. I was like, I need to find the answer for Ramosha. His thing was that there's different types of mechitzas. Let's say you have a piece of tsoya, so you can put a mechitza. Now, if the mechitza is glass, it could be it works. It covers it. If the mechitza is for a sukkah, you need a mechitza for a sukkah. So if you have a glass wall, so it's a wall. Like in my porch, I have glass, it's mechitza. But if the mechitza is for tznius, how does hilchas mechitza help? If the concern is that a man is going to be distracted during davening, so how do the svaras of mechitza, like, lahalacha it's a mechitza, 10, 12, but we're not even talking about halacha. We're not talking about a mechitza of a sukkah. We're talking about a mechitza of this. That was just, I don't know what the answer is exactly. I'm just throwing it out there now. I'm sure that it was a big controversy. And somebody told me yesterday, no, he was only saying it in Memphis, in Tennessee, and this, and you have to know for who and for what, and okay. Weiter. Here's another, this is a Meiser Shai. A guy comes to, I'm not going to say who. I'll tell you later. After the answer, I don't want to give it away. If I tell you who, then you're going to know the answer. A Rav comes and says, look, they hired me in a community, and I can make a big hashpah over there. Within a year, I'll have massive mechitzas made out of metal. Right now, the mechitza is not halachically good. Am I allowed to take the position as the Rav? Now, I want to preface this with a little bit that I know. I went to add the schus to be for Shabbos in Deal. And I was told that the Rabbi Raful, I think it was Rabbi Raful, he made a huge mapech in the community. Now it's a situation like in just not a lot of time, 20 years maybe. People are learning, and they have before Shachris hundreds of people. The Torah is huge over there, to the point where when we came, some of the guests, when we came with the whole chabur from MDY, they said, the host says, listen, do you have a smartphone? Yeah. I'm sorry, we can't have guests in our house that have smartphones, and we had to find another place for them. It was stark. Some of them are stark. Like, great. A mapech that a Rav can make. A Rav made mamish a 180. So, it's possible. So could you take the job? What would you paskin? What would you, if you were the Rav, what would you paskin?
Emmanuel Feldman took a job, and he insisted that before he becomes a Rav, they have to have a mechitza. He didn't say it's going to be okay.
In Atlanta.
And they gave in, and he stayed there for many, many years. But they had to...
Okay, that's one way. I'm asking, but that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. Could I take the job? Can I take a job knowing that right now the mechitza is not kosher?
No, it's not so.
And I will be convincing the community to do better.
They can swear riskin. That's right. So riskin.
Yeah.
The same shiloh.
Yeah.
And he was told you could be there for either 1 year or 3 years, the most. And if you haven't changed the community,
1 year. That's why I said 1 year. Rabbi Yashiv said you're allowed to take the job, but I'll deny that 1 year. So maybe we're talking about the same thing. Maybe they asked him. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Interesting psak. I mean, it's not a psak for everything and but it's an idea. You could go take it if you're going to be mechazik doilo. So says the Gemara. Bishloim ele Rabbi Yehuda haynu d'chsiv kidash. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Shlomo HaMelech took the entire Azara, the whole floor, and was mekadesh it. Why? Because there's not enough room on the mizbeach to be making all these korbanos. El Rabbi Yosi my kiddush. Why, according to Rabbi Yosi, was he mekadesh? You don't have to be mekadesh the Azara. Says the Gemara, lahamid b'mizbeach. He was mekadesh the floor, so that there's gedusha on the floor when you put down the mizbeach, when you build the mizbeach. That the mizbeach of Moshe Rabbeinu was small. What does it mean? According to Rabbi Yehuda, even the new mizbeach was small. You tell me, Shlomo HaMelech had to build a large mizbeach because Moshe Rabbeinu's mizbeach was too small. But Shlomo HaMelech's mizbeach is also too small. Cannot do 142,000 karbanos. The most he can do is 11,000 karbanos. That's why he built a new one, because it's small. Yours is also small. Mizbeach havonim shas shloim tachas mizbeach hanachoishes kaden hava. He's saying is no, the new one is small. And Rashi points out that the new one that Shlomo Melech made, even though it's made out of stones, it's called Nechoshes also. So it could fit in. The Mizbeach and Nechoshes is Katoin. The new one is too small to be marker of 142. That's why they had to be Mekadesh the floor. Says Gemara b'Maipli, what's the machlokes over here, this whole thing between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi? Mar Sovar, not this whole thing, but part of it. Mar Sovar dorim chutz mechutz vein dorim chutz mepnim. Very, very simple. Here we go. We have the two of them. Oh, okay. You see, mamish not working. What you see on the bottom right, you see the mizbech of Moshe Rabbeinu, the outer mizbech. It doesn't look like our outer mizbech looks like Yecheskel's, right? Right next to it. So anyway, Moshe Rabbeinu was more of a kli, as we're going to see. But it's the outer mizbech. That's what you makriv karbanos on. It looks like what we do today for the Ketores and the new Beis Hamikdash. The outer mizbech look like that as well. So, anyways, the shaila is: do you learn the outer mizbech from an outer mizbech? Moshe Rabbeinu from Yecheskel. That's Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore I go to a larger area, just like Yecheskel's mizbech was 12 from the center, but it's really 24. So ours is 5 from the center. It's really 10 by 10. Or Rabbi Yossi says no. I rather learn the Mizbeach HaChitzon from the Mizbeach HaPnimi. I rather learn Moshe Rabbeinu from Moshe Rabbeinu. I don't want to learn from Yecheskel. So says the Gemara, I don't want to learn from the inner Mizbeach. Take a look at the left corner. Both of those Mizbeachos are Kalim. Certainly everybody knows the inner one is a Kli. The inner Mizbeach is a small little thing. You can lift it up. Anybody can lift it up and move it. So too is the giant Mizbeach of Moshe Rabbeinu. It was movable. Look, it even has those rods that people jump in there and pick it up and move it. Anytime they had to break down let me show you this. I thought it was very cool, this video. They had to break down the Mishkan. Here the poles on the side is very, very interesting. Okay.
Very good shaila. The Mizbeach is 10 amos high and the poles are at 5 amos. That's 10 feet tall. How do they carry?
We had the whole sugya with people from the Yotzei Midbar. We had the sugya, and you were able to, when they were dead and their knees were bent, and you were on a camel, you went underneath the camel. I don't know. I don't know. I hear.
They emptied the earth. They emptied the earth.
Just the height of the poles were.
No, he's asking about the height.
They were at 5 amos high.
They're 5 amos high. That's about 10 feet tall. How are you carrying something? What are you going to go like this? Even most people can't even reach the rim. The rim in basketball is 10 feet tall. It's a big thing to dunk on it. You have to be, and that's where the poles are. At the height of the rim, you have to stand on a ladder to move it. I hear. Maybe it's a mizbech noises atzmai. We have to get there. Well, we have the kash at the end of Zevachim. Certainly the Ariel was like that. Those poles meant nothing. The Ariel just went. Huh?
So why they call the Kli?
It's still movable. It goes from here to there. Every time all those vayishkon, every time you have to put it down. So it's a kli. Anything that's movable is a kli. Ve'ein danim kli mebinyan, and we don't. And he doesn't want to learn the kli from the Yecheskel's stationary mizbeach. Omar Rava. So if you recall, on Daf Yomi Amud Aleph, if you're able to, if you have an art scroll, it's like 8 pages ago. But if you have a Gemara without art scroll, you just turn the page. On Daf Yomi Amud Aleph, all the way in the bottom, 4 lines from the bottom. With the Gemara, or 5 lines, the Gemara says, "Moida Hoyer Rabbi Yehuda b'damim." The Gemara asks, I'll remind you. There's a Mizbech HaKtaris. The Gemara says if you move the Mizbech HaKtaris to the side, you could put Ktaris on the floor, burn the Ktaris on the floor. You don't need the actual Mizbech. So the Gemara says, yeah, you're right. And the Gemara wanted to say the same thing for the regular Mizbech. The Gemara says, no. When it comes to Zrikas Adam, you need the actual Mizbech. It's not going to help you. Ktaris is one halacha, Dam is another halacha, says Rabbi Yehuda. And if you look at 4 lines from the bottom, it says, my Rabbi Yehuda. Where do we find this Rabbi Yehuda? So we've been searching for this Rabbi Yehuda all the way to today. And here we are, a daf later. Omar Rava, Moide Rabbi Yehuda b'damim. That's the Rabbi Yehuda that we're talking about. After this whole sugya, comes Rabbi Yehuda and says, listen, to sprinkle the blood has to be only on the Mizbeach. The Sadi Rabbi Doimer. I'll remind you, we had the sugya, it's Geshmak. Erev Pesach, when there's millions of korbanos, there's blood everywhere, till their knees. And we had this Venice thing, the Venice situation. Just yesterday, my wife sent me a picture that popped, like sometimes it pops on your screen, like memories from 10 years ago. Sent me a picture of us in Venice. And in the background were those stages that I was telling Dylan about, when there's rain, whatever. I don't know why they were there at the time. But anyway, so they put these stages in the blood so that you could walk around not on the blood. The Gemara says that according to Rabbi Yehuda, they would fill up one kli of blood and bring it to the Mizbeach and pour it. Why? Because just in case somebody that brought a carbon paste, one of the millions of people, the kohen might have dropped his whole kli onto the ground and wasn't able to do zrika. So we'll do one zrika for everybody. We're assuming that there's some molecule of his blood everywhere, and when I take one kli full of blood, I'm going to take one drop of his, and I'll do one final zrika on the Mizbeach. So what do you see from that? You see that the Mizbeach, in order to do the zrika, you have to do it on the Mizbeach. Otherwise, asking Mar, just do the zrika. Why do you need zrika? Or just pour it on wherever you are. According to Rabbi Yehuda, there's kedusha everywhere. So just pour it where you are. You'd fill up one vessel of blood and pour it on the Mizbeach. Because if one of the bloods of the korbanos, the entire blood fell, I'll be machshir his korban. He's able to eat it. Because if there's no zrika, you can't eat it. If it's true that Rabbi Yehuda holds that the entire Zara has kedusha, when it fell out of the kohen's hand, there was what?
Already, it's the mitzvah.
Not zrika, that's a mistake.
Asks Ari, it's not zrika, it's a mistake. So what? But it was in the kohen's hand and it fell on the floor. You need you can't just, it can't fall out of the kohen's hand. You need like a kohen gavra. You need an action. You need to pour the blood. You need kohen gavra. There's a whole nida when it comes to the machine matzahs. If you need kohen gavra, if could you have a lishma on something the machine does? You just, it's not pashut. I think most people now eat machine matzahs. They say it's even better than regular matzahs in a way. So, not me, of course. Chazanish. She's not in charge. Should we go there? We don't need to go there. Yeah? I'll say it again. Okay. I used to give a very short Mishnah Berurah shir Friday night in Shul. And to my luck, a very choshev rav from the neighbor, big Talmud Chacham, the Rabbanim here in the neighborhood, big stuff. He happened to be there. He said, okay, I told him, don't stay for the shir. No, I need to stay. So anyway, I'm doing the shir, and I'm just, in the middle I say, over a halach from Chaim Kanievsky. The Chaim Kanievsky says that they have a new robot that writes Sefer Torah. It's true. In China, he takes a pen and goes like this, and it's beautiful ksav. I said, Chaim Kanievsky paskins that if a human being turns on the machine, then it's kosher. And I go weiter, I'm like, 3 minutes later, I'm like, nobody stopped me to ask me? Because I said what Chaim Kanievsky said, nobody. And the Rav turned colors, he chat, it didn't make any sense. I'm like, I'm messing around with you. Chaim Kanievsky never said that. But it was a busha for me also, because he became bad. It wasn't so good. Anyway, you were there?
I was there.
You were there?
It was very funny.
No, it was the point. I said, Rav Chaim Kanievsky said, and if you think about it, you can buy a Sefer Torah for $22, the whole thing. The machine, he flies, and it's beautiful, and it's with a quilt. You can dip it in ink, a quilt. And a quilt, yeah. A quilt wouldn't be good. Zog the Gemara.
The shipping is more expensive than the
Yeah. Made in China.
Not from Ali.
And then you have all the machmirim, they go to China to check the factory. What if the quill was made out of this and that? Every kid is running around with the Sefer Torah. Oh, says Gemara. Okay, you're right. Good hara. Even Ari had the hara. The what? Ari, did you learn this in Masechta before? Your mom is holding it. Yeah. So you need the koyach ha'adam. So if it fell out of his hand, it's not enough. That's why we take one vessel full of blood. Imkei says Gemara, pour it right here on the spot. Says Gemara, no. Yeah, you're right. You could, technically speaking, you take the blood, pour it right here on the floor. It has exclusion on the floor. But you want to do the mitzvah min hamuvchar, which reminds me, I got to say this story at least once a year, because it gave me a lot of chizuk, it gave a lot of people chizuk. I got a lot of emails about this story. The problem is, Reb Nachman, you have to help me out. Somebody has to help me. I forgot the name. Regina, who was it?
What's the story?
Stories with the Rebbe went to the matzah bakery, and when he was done baking matzahs, he gave everybody a tip. And then he came back for the mitzvah matzah on Erev Pesach, like right a few hours before Yom Tov. And the same people were there. The Red learned this. So he gave them a tip. So one of the guys said, Rebbe, you don't have to give me a tip. You already gave me a tip. You were yaitz already last time. So he said in Yiddish, I didn't come to this world to be yaitz zayin. I didn't come to be yaitz zayin. There's yaitz zayin and not yaitz zayin. Like, I have a very good friend that there's a chiyuv to eat fish on Shabbos. So he opens up a can of tuna and he gives each person a little. He likes fish, but it doesn't mean I have to make fish every Shabbos. I have to be yoitz. So he's yoitz zayin. That's yoitz zayin. A poor person comes to you, so you make a cheshbon. How much is a pruta? A pruta is 10 cents. Okay, you give him 10 cents. That's yoitz zayin. There's doing the mitzvah, k'moshe tzarech, and there's yoitz zayin. Says, yeah, you want to take a blood and pour it on the floor? Okay, so you yoitz. But I want to do it l'chatchila, k'moshe tzarech. I walk 25 feet, I go over to the mizbeach and I give it a zet. I have no idea how many people told me, I give tzedakah now in a different thing. I learn. You can do also Daf Yomi. Check. I read it. Check. It's yaitz zayin. It's learning k'moshe tzarech. Like anything in life is like that. Omar Rebbe Lazar. Just to remind the Olam what. Show it again. Havas nisht. When you have a mincha is made out of flour and sometimes different things, oil, whatever. So the kohen first goes and takes a kmitza. Kmitza, he takes literally 3 finger worth of flour with his pinky. He makes it smooth with his thumb, and he takes that and he puts that on the mizbeach. The rest is shirayim, leftover. So the kohanim get to eat in the Beis Hamikdash, but only if the mizbeach is whole. If the mizbeach has a defect, they have to make a repair. Can't eat. You eat the matzah by the mizbeach. Ask the Gemara, you don't have to eat it by the mizbeach. You can eat it anywhere. Mizbeach is referring to the type of mizbeach that you have. You have to have a mizbeach that's full, that's whole. Says Gemara, that's great for mincha. What about kochi kochim and olam? How do I know the same thing applies to kochi kochim? Says Gemara that if the mizbeach is pogum, you can't eat. In the same pasuk, look, it says ha mincha. It says kodesh kadashim. It doesn't only apply to mincha; it also applies to kodesh kadashim. Kochim kalamenayim. So how do I know that kochi kochim require a mizbeach? Kochi kalim require a mizbeach. Omar Abaya. Asim Midrasha de Rabbi Yossi. Says Abaya, I can learn now from a drasha. The sign Rabbi Yossi Omer Shleisha Dvar Mishum Shleisha Skenim. So unfortunately, we don't have the 3 Skenim here. All 3 things that the 3 Skenim said. We have 1. V'zechad mem. Do sponsors now? Okay, might as well. Turning of the daf. L'nishmas Reb Zela by Dar Global. L'nishmas Reb Zela ben Reb Vom Meir Meisels. L'nishmas Reb Yehuda Doi ben Reb Yisrael. Anonymous. As a schus, Fatzloch, and Ruchnis and Gashmis. Judah Elisheva Batya Schlesinger, for Atzlach and Simcha for Yol Judah Ben Devorah Elisheva Miriam Bas Chanam Batya Bas Elisheva Miriam. And this is one of the three things. Rabbi Shmuel Oimer Yochel Yalo Adam Ma'aser Sheni Lushalayim V'Yochlenu B'Zman Hazeh. So here's a question. Stop. Shaila. B'Zman Hazeh. Today, if there's a terrible situation going on in Har Bayis, where it's a situation, let's say, of Pikuach Nefesh, and they send up soldiers, police, whatever they send up there. Do the police and the soldiers, do they have to be makbid on Har Bayis of the Makom HaMikdash? Let's say they know for a fact that right over here is the Makom HaMikdash, but they have to go into Makom HaMikdash because they have to save some Jews there that are getting beat up. Do they have to be makbid on Gedushas, on Kavod HaMikdash? Today, mamish today, in 2025, when you go to the Makom HaMikdash, do you have to be makbid? Yes or no? For instance, could you take a seat and sit down? I need a watch. If I don't sit here, people will die. They'll throw stones over the kaisel. It's very dangerous. Pikuach nefesh, I'm allowed to be there, but do I have to be mechabed? I'm not. It's not pikuach nefesh for me to sit. I could stand for 5 hours. I stood before. Could I sit? It's not stand. I want to know, could I sit? Yes or no? What's the halacha? Today, B'zman hazeh. So the Rambam says, B'zman hazeh, there's a chiyuv to be mechabed. You're not allowed to sit in the Makom HaMikdash, Makom HaZara. It's the Rambam. What?
There's an army base there that's right over the. So you stand at the Kaisel.
Yeah.
You look at the top. There's an army base that have access to all of that they monitor all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just saying, theoretically speaking, if it's in Makom HaMikdash, not by the where they stand is probably not the Makom HaMikdash. I'm talking about deeper in. By the Even Shasiya, exactly. So now, Meiser Sheni, we're not going to show we're not going to show any of this. I'm just going to show so you remember, Meiser Sheni is you give 10% of your produce to yourself. In other words, you bring 10% of your produce to Yerushalayim, and you eat in Yerushalayim. Do you have to be tar? Or you can be tar when you eat it? You have to be tar. You have to be tar. You get malchus if you eat it when you're tar. Bring it to Yerushalayim. If you want, you could change it into money, you could sell it, redeem it into money, bring the money up to Yerushalayim and buy stuff in Yerushalayim. What about today? That's the Gemara. If you have Meiser Sheni today, could you bring it to Yerushalayim and eat it? Says the Gemara, I'll just tell you the chinuch, remind you the chinuch, old stuff, but the good stuff. I probably didn't say it in the last year or two. The chinuch says, what's the pshat in Meiser Sheni? He says, when people have to bring the fruit up to Yerushalayim, and they stay there for a while because they have a lot of fruit that they have to consume. So they send usually one representative. They send the bacher, the yeshiva guy. They send a strong kid, go from Tzvat all the way to Yerushalayim. He stays there for a few weeks. What's in Yerushalayim? Tamid Chachamim. People that know how to learn. So he sits and he learns Torah from people that know what's going on, and then he brings that Torah back to wherever he was before, and so like that Torah spreads throughout Klal Yisrael. That's the chinuch's pshat in Meiser Sheni, his time of the crow. So where it says v'dinu, b'char ton avos makoim, u'meiser ton avos makoim. I don't really need this. I'm learning Meiser Sheni from b'char. Both of them you have to bring up to Yerushalayim. Ma b'char ein el b'fnei habayis. You need a Beis Hamikdash in order to bring a b'char. You need to bring your firstborn animal, you need a Beis Hamikdash. So too, when it comes to Meiser, you need a Beis Hamikdash. So today we don't have a Beis Hamikdash. You don't bring your Meiser Sheni to Yerushalayim. As the Gemara, you know why you need a Beis Hamikdash? Because b'chor you have to take the parts that belong to the Mizbeach and put on the Mizbeach. You have to do Zrikas Adam. So of course you need a Beis Hamikdash. Says the Gemara, Bikurim Yechichu. So now we're introducing something new. Bikurim. Bikurim is the first fruit of the Shivas Haminim you bring to the Beis Hamikdash. And Bikurim obviously don't have a murim, they don't have innards, and they don't have blood. You bring it as is. Says Gemara, Mali Bikurim Shekintun and Anacha. What's Anacha? Anacha is you take the fruit, take a look. It says Ve'nichoi, right? What does it mean? You take it. That's what the kohen. And you put it down. by the, nice what you said, good form. Watch the back. You don't want to get injured. Ari gave us the good form. He has a gym. He does personal training. So you have to place it down. But you have to. Where do you place it down? By the mizbeach. So what kind of raya? What do you bring me a raya from Ma'aser Sheni? That has to be the mizbeach. We're holding over here somewhere. Oh, I have a pasuk. Makish Maisel Bechar. You see, in the same pasuk it says Ma'aser Seichem uVechoros Bekarchem. So there's a hekesh. In the same pasuk, it brings the same pasuk. So I learn one thing from the other. Makish Maisel Bechar. Ma Bechar Eino Lebefnei Habayis. Habayis Eino Lebefnei Habayis. You need the Beis Hamikdash. Ask the Gemara if it had the Dina of an Esav B'Me'atzad. But I have two things. Look, I have Bikurim and Bechar. Those two. Learn Ma'aser Sheni from Bikurim and Bechar. If I can learn Ma'aser Sheni from one, because this one is different, because I have Imurim. So learn from Bikurim. Oh, Bikurim is different because I have to put it down on the floor. Okay, so make a combination. Bechar you don't have to put down on the floor. Bikurim you don't have Imurim in blood. But the two of them together tell me you need a Beis Hamikdash. So too, Ma'aser Sheni, you need a Beis Hamikdash. The bottom line is, though, that a Bechar and Bikurim have a Mizbeach, and Ma'aser Sheni doesn't need a Mizbeach. Akoparim, that's that. We could continue over here. Why not? There's a concept in Shas, a very, very simple concept. The Kedusha that the Beis Hamikdash has and the Kedusha that Yerushalayim has, does it last forever? Or perhaps once Klal Yisrael goes into Galus, the Kedusha leaves with them. It's a big shayla. Kedusha Rishon Kitchel Shaita, V'Kitchel Asid Lavai, or Loi Kitchel Asid Lavai. The Kedusha leaves. Ma'ikesavar, Ikesavar Kedusha Rishon Kitchel Shaita, V'Kitchel Asid Lavai, Afilu Bechar Nami. Why can't you just bring the Bechar Bizman as you have a firstborn animal, bring it to the Beis Hamikdash? Question: when you bring it to the Beis Hamikdash, do you need to build a mizbeach or even without a mizbeach?
No, not for Bechar.
Not for Bechar. Tosfos says you need a mizbeach. Tosfos says so according to Tosfos, you shouldn't be able to shech the carbon pesach bizman as like people want to do. But I guess there's other Rishonim. I don't know. I'm familiar with Tosfos right here. Tosfos says you need a mizbeach. So why can't you bring a Bechar now? But if you hold that there's no Kedusha today, so then you should have asked a question on a Bechar. Why are you asking me a question on Ma'aser Sheni? There's no Kedusha today. You could say there's no Kedusha today. The problem is we have a specific case where the blood and everything was done for the Bechar before the Churban. And now we have the meat to deal with. And now we have a hekesh between the meat and the blood of the Bechar, the meat of the blood, the meat of the Bechar, and the blood of the Bechar. We know that the blood definitely needs a mizbeach. So too, the meat. And then, take a look, very, very simple. It looks something like this. We have the blood of a Bechar. That teaches us with the hekesh to the Bechar's meat. That you need a mizbeach. And now once I have the meat, I have a hekesh to the Ma'aser Sheni that you need. That if you have a mizbeach, it's great. So what's the problem with this? It's a hekesh to hekesh. So what's the answer? That hekesh to hekesh is only in kachim. What's not kachim in this picture? Ma'aser Sheni. But does that work if that's the outcome? Sometimes you say, if it's chulin, you can do hekesh to hekesh, but that's the melamed, the guy all the way to the right. If he's chulin, he could teach in a hekesh, but not the one that's learned. So says the Gemara, you can't do hekesh from hekesh. Says Gemara, meiser dagon chulin, who the meiser of the wheat is chulin. In other words, meiser sheni is chulin. You bring the stuff up, you're eating it yourself. That's if you hold that the one that's learned, the one all the way to the left is chulin, that works great. But if you need that the chulin should be all the way to the right, not all the way in the left, and over here on the right, the dam and the basar are kachim, how do you do a hegesh from a hegesh? Both blood Take a look. I'll zoom in even. The blood is of the bechar. The meat is of the bechar. So it's one animal. It's one carbon. So it's considered one. It's not even a hekesh. Now, we were running out of time. I had a nice video that I'll just show you tomorrow. Be'ezer Hashem. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.